Today, the Wisconsin Historical Society honored a student at Peshtigo Elementary for finding a century-old shipwreck with her dad. While out fishing on Lake Michigan with her dad last year, Henley Wallach spotted the sunken vessel after a sonar device for fishing picked up on the wreck. The ship, confirmed as the George L. Newman. It was built in 1855. The Historical Society says the ship was transporting lumber when it ran aground near Green Island because of smoke from the catastrophic Peshtigo fire of October 8, 1871. Now, more than 150 years after the George L. Newman sank, Henley is presented with a special certificate from Historical Society to honor her and her dad's discovery.
We were just fishing by Green Island, and then we saw the shipwreck.
What did you think it was at first?
Marks from the Green Bay octopus.
It is a rare find to have a child figure out that something is an important artifact. And when she first saw it, she looked at it and said, "Daddy, is that an octopus?" But it had turned out to be a shipwreck, and they called it.
Definitely not an octopus. Henley's discovery made it possible for archaeologists to document and preserve the history of the shipwreck for generations to come. Maritime archaeologists with the Historical Society have a dive planned later this spring to further study and photograph the vessel. And hopefully they invite us along to that. That'd be really neat.